Upon first meeting her, as a man, thoughts went to their lowest level.
A bombshell mix of sex and sass, Mitzi Gaynor rose to stardom in the 1950s, winning the lead role in one of Hollywood's best-loved musicals.
You want to know anything else about me?
She overcame changing tastes and the passage of time to emerge as a true show business survivor.
She was smart enough to say, well, I can do other stuff, and she went ahead and did it.
After half a century of performing, she remains an enduring, energetic symbol of pluck and professionalism.
She knew from day one what she wanted to do. She wanted to be a star.
In 1940, Americans, shaken by news of the war in Europe, found escape at the movies, where glamorous superstars like Betty Grable brought fantasy and romance to filmgoers nationwide. For one young film buff in Detroit, Michigan, those silver screen fantasies also brought a tantalizing vision of a future in show business.
I have a very long, complicated name. Francesca Francis, Mitzi Marlene Tchania von Gerber. All legit. And on my birth certificate, it says baby girl.
Born on September 4th, 1931, at the height of America's Great Depression, Mitzi Gerber was bouncing to the family phonograph even before she could walk. Her mother, Pauline, a former professional dancer, was Mitzi's greatest influence.
Mitzi talks about her mother's vitality and some of her quirkiness and about her great good humor and the fact that she loved parties and she loved people, and she certainly transferred that to Mitzi. Maybe it's genetic.
They had a really great relationship. This was a mother that was totally engulfed in her child and thought that she was just perfect.
Mitzi was eager to please her supportive mother, who hoped her only child might achieve the stardom that she had not. But their close bond sharply contrasted with the explosive dynamic between Mitzi's parents. Her father, Henry von Gerber, was a tempestuous Hungarian who had given up a career in Europe as a cellist to emigrate to America. He was now struggling to find work during the Depression.
Things were tough. Not for me. They never let anything be tough for me. My mom and dad didn't really get along too well. My father was a Hungarian Virgo, of which I am. Almost militant.
But Mitzi's ferocious independence came in handy, as the hazel-eyed brunette spent hours studying dance and trying to copy her Hollywood idol, Betty Grable.
She may have not been a prima ballerina, but she had this personality and this energy that it would look 10 times better than anybody else.
First time I saw Carmen Miranda, I started to imitate her. I wore my first pair of high heel shoes when I was 10 years old. I had my first bra when I was 10 years old. Precocious, is that the word? Brat is also a word.
To defend the free institutions for which their fathers fought and died, the people of America are building a powerful citizen army.
By 1943, as America's sons and daughters were leaving home to serve in World War II, the Gerber home was also torn apart, but for a different reason. Mitzi's bickering parents had already separated, but their bitter break became final when Mitzi's dance teacher decided that the gifted 12-year-old was ready for a bigger stage.
One day, she said to Mitzi's mother, this little girl is going to be a big motion picture star. Based upon that and nothing else, with no loot in their pockets, no contracts anywhere, she and her mother got on a train and went to California.
See, my daddy didn't want me to be into show business. He said, "You are crazy, goddammit," which is one word.
Over the next few years, Mitzi saw little of her father. She grew closer than ever to her adoring and ambitious mother, who helped Mitzi use her brains, her body, and her desire to succeed in their new home in Hollywood. With Pauline's encouragement, Mitzi danced in USO shows for soldiers. And in 1946, the 14-year-old fibbed about her age to win a high-profile place on stage with the Los Angeles Civic Light Opera.
She wasn't afraid to do anything. Edwin Lester, he's the boss, and she would, in front of the entire cast, pat him on the behind or plop herself in his lap. He became the palm of her hand.
The savvy showgirl also took every chance to study the veteran performers around her. She was quick to learn the art of telling a story by connecting with her audience, filing away in her sharp memory every entertainment trick in the book. By 1948, the 17-year-old's bubbly personality and shapely physique were also winning her a small army of would-be beaus. One was Richard Coyle, a handsome attorney, 13 years Mitzi's senior.
And he was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen, male or female. But if you were going to have a first love, lose your virginity, it would be a Richard Coyle. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man.
By 1950, the two were engaged. And that year, Mitzi's career also took a giant leap forward when the 19-year-old was discovered at the Civic Light Opera by film producer George Jessel. He arranged for a screen test for her at 20th Century Fox. Mitzi was thrilled when she was cast in her debut movie role at a salary of $1,000 a week. My Blue Heaven starred dancer Dan Daly and none other than Mitzi's childhood idol, Betty Grable. Fittingly, Mitzi played a sexy, ambitious dancer with an eye on stardom.
I called him darling.
Oh, it's all right. Call him anything you like.
Me, I really?
Well, sure, you ought to hear what I call him sometimes. Try it again. Ready, darling?
You see, all of a sudden you see a new face that's being featured, and she was kind of like the other woman, and very young, and long ponytail, and you could tell she was having a good time. It's interesting to see a full-blown performer. She knew what to do from the beginning.
Mitzi won over cast and crew with her playfulness and a surprisingly innocent sweetness. But her enthusiastic personality did put off one major co-star.
Betty Grable, she didn't like me. She'd go to the bathroom and there I'd be, hi, Miss Grable. I mean, you have no, get that kid away from me. I said, oh, I just worshipped her.
When My Blue Heaven opened, it wasn't Mitzi Gerber who got credit on screen. Studio executives thought her last name sounded like baby food, not film star material. So, borrowing the name from an earlier Fox superstar, Janet Gaynor, Mitzi Gerber became Mitzi Gaynor. But by any name, the up-and-coming actress had scored a bullseye with her small but showy part. The movie was a hit. Time magazine called Gaynor the brightest spot in the show. And by 1951, Fox's newest contract player had taken her first steps toward stardom.
You're looking at the most abundant fuel in our country. You're looking at an American resource that will help us toward vital energy security into the next century. But most of all, you're looking at 50% of our electricity. Coal. It's the resource that generates half of our electricity at a third the cost of most other fuels. It's the fuel that powers our way of life. Learn more about America's Power at americaspower.org.
All these people have a medical condition where straining should be avoided. Colace Capsule Stool Softener eases straining and makes going more comfortable, which also helps when dealing with certain medical conditions. So try Colace Capsules for effective, comfortable relief.
You don't have to suffer. Premier Bathrooms brings freedom to your life.
It's so much easier than using a bathtub, the old-style bathtub. I'm very, very happy I've got it.
Premier Bathrooms' custom bath and shower enclosures are easy to step into, feature sturdy hand grips and safety bars, secure locking mechanisms, and comfortable seats. Every Premier bathroom tub and shower is backed by an unconditional, no-quibble guarantee on all parts and labor.
Now I just go and I have a bath, I take the phone, I take a book, and sit back and relax. We really liked it.
I don't know what else to say. They're wonderful.
Premier walk-in baths come complete with bath fittings and accessories to bring value and beauty to your home. Ease away tension and pain with Premier Bathrooms' patented hydrotherapy jets. Premier Bathrooms has meant freedom and safety to thousands of customers across Europe and North America.
Call 1-888-238-4119 for your free information kit.
Looking to coordinate a piece of furniture with my favorite suit here.
He wears it to work.
I have.
Well, with our custom orders, you can pick a style of Lazy Boy furniture and choose from hundreds of different comfortable fabrics, including this one.
Comfort. It's what we do. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries.
Do you want to own a brand new computer and improve your credit at the same time? If you have less than perfect credit, bad credit, or no credit at all, and want to improve your credit, Guaranteed Consumer Funding can assist you in obtaining the high-quality computer you want and need, while at the same time help you build or rebuild your credit. Here's how it works.
Bad credit? No credit, no problem. There's no credit check, so you will not be turned down. If you have a checking or savings account and can afford weekly payments of just $29.99, then you are already approved for a brand new Dell, HP, or other name brand computer. Guaranteed. So give us a call now to have your brand new computer shipped right to you. And we'll add over $700 in premiums and upgrades and an MP3 player for free. And with select models, we'll throw in a free printer.
Give us a call today to get the computer of your dreams, and we'll help you get back on track to improving your credit. Guaranteed Consumer Funding, your credit solution for quality electronics.
On the next Dead Men Talking, an exterminator looking for termites finds something a little more terrifying.
He saw something strange, something that looked like a human skull.
And a bullet hole suggests foul play. The victim, a man who'd been missing for 20 years. The dilemma.
Did he commit suicide? Or was he murdered?
Could a shattered mirror and a rusty gun help solve this bizarre mystery? Dead Men Talking. Tonight at 10, only on Bio.
After Mitzi Gaynor's success in My Blue Heaven, the starlet's salary climbed to $1,500 a week as 20th Century Fox groomed her for bigger things. In 1951, producer George Jessel decided she was the perfect choice to play the lead in his upcoming movie musical Golden Girl. Gaynor and her proud mother Pauline were ecstatic when Mitzi was cast in her first starring role.
I'm going to be an actress, a dancer. But you can't be an actress without being wicked. Well, then I'll be wicked. You wouldn't know how. Well, I could learn, couldn't I?
Golden Girl co-starred Western heartthrob Dale Robertson in a story inspired by the Civil War time adventures and romances of music hall performer Lotta Crabtree.
He kissed her once, he kissed her twice. She waited for the third, but he was quite afraid to try until this song he heard. Oh, kiss me quick and go, my honey. Kiss me quick and go. To cheat, surprise, and pry. Kiss me quick and go. Ho, ho! Kiss me quick and go.
Mitzi Gaynor had more talent than anybody else there, I think, with the possible exception of Betty Grable.
Golly! Oh, I mean, how prettily you put it, sir. I'm really quite flattered.
She always seemed happy to me, whether she was on camera or off camera. She always just seemed to have a light bulb in her eyes, you know. She lit up a room when she walked in.
To Mitzi's disappointment, Golden Girl struck little gold at the box office. But over the next several months, 20th Century Fox didn't miss a chance to promote its latest ingenue by keeping her in the public eye.
On the Hollywood set, Mitzi Gaynor makes a Look Magazine award to Richard Burton.
For the best male performance in a supporting role, to Mr. Richard Burton for his brilliant portrayal in the 20th Century Fox picture, My Cousin Rachel. Mr. Burton.
Thank you.
In 1952, Mitzi stepped back on screen to star in the Damon Runyon gangster musical Bloodhounds of Broadway as a sweet country girl who travels to New York City to become a nightclub dancer.
About 80 miles outside of Atlanta, they live in a lazy kind of way. About 80 miles outside of Atlanta, GA.
Nobody has a sexier body than Mitzi, and she uses it like crazy, but at the same time, it's always done with fun. It's never lascivious, and she didn't take herself seriously as this siren, you know.
Among Gaynor's favorite collaborators on the movie was noted film and stage choreographer Robert Sidney, who enjoyed Mitzi's playful nature.
The first time she came on the set bubbling, she said, "What are we going to do first?" I said, "What will you do first about your big fat?" And she fell on the floor and we became friends. The girl impressed me from the very beginning. You knew this thing was going to be a star because she was not the typical glamour girl. She really wasn't. She's a funny gal, you know.
With her career on the rise, Mitzi's love life was about to change dramatically. While filming Bloodhounds of Broadway, Gaynor was still engaged to her longtime beau, Richard Coyle. But Mitzi ended that relationship when she began to be wined and dined by one of the world's most charismatic billionaires and womanizers, Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes was divine. He was good-looking. He was fun. He was terribly generous. Now, I'm not saying generous like giving me money or anything like that. I'm just saying of his time and if he could help me and so on.
It all began when a very confused justice of the peace performed a wedding that was not exactly legal.
In 1952, Mitzi became one of 10 stars featured in the comedy We're Not Married, the story of 5 couples who learned their weddings were performed illegally. Gaynor played an expectant mother who's desperate to legitimize her marriage to a departing serviceman, played by Eddie Bracken.
There she is! Hey, Patsy!
Willie, the doctor says we are! Willie!
I'll write all about it!
Mitzi Gaynor was wonderful, vivacious, and full of fun. A lady. I just loved her. She was vulnerable to any kind of a joke that you throw at her. She was very gullible.
But Mitzi's part in the film was overshadowed by the presence of another Fox starlet, Marilyn Monroe. And Mitzi realized that it was Marilyn who was beginning to win the studio's best film roles.
With Marilyn Monroe as Lorelei Lee, the world's most fabulous gold-digging blonde.
I just love finding new places to wear diamonds.
As Gaynor's career started to founder, her personal life suffered an even bigger disappointment. While filming We're Not Married, Gaynor herself dreamed of walking down the aisle with Howard Hughes, but she was soon dealt a harsh blow of reality.
When she told me that she was going to marry Howard Hughes, and I said, I was just working with Terry Moore, and she told me that she was going to marry Howard Hughes. They both believed it, and they believed it strongly. But then I would call Terry, and I'd tell Terry that I was with Mitzi, and I had sparks flying between them. I was trying to make them see that life is a little bit different than the dreams that you may have. Oh, she was deeply hurt, and I knew it. Mitzi went through hell during that time.
Devastated by Hughes' cavalier treatment, Gaynor ended their relationship.
She walked away. He didn't dismiss her. But she was very hurt, very deeply hurt.
Mitzi was determined to carry on and returned to movie screens in the 1953 musical, The I Don't Care Girl. But like her previous efforts, the film failed to dazzle critics or generate big box office. Eager to overcome second-rate material, Gaynor sometimes seemed to be trying too hard.
They say I'm crazy, got no sense, but I don't care. They may or may not mean offense. but I care less. You see, I'm sort of independent, of a clever race descendant. My star is on the ascendant, that's why I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what they may think of me. My voice may sound funny, but it's getting me the money, so I don't care.
Depressed by her failed romances and her stagnant career, Mitzi turned to food for solace, and by the end of 1953, the unhappy actress had gained 40 pounds. But luckily, Gaynor was about to meet the man who would revitalize her life, both personally and professionally. Jack Bean was an ambitious talent agent who met the 22-year-old on a double date. That night at the Coconut Grove, sparks flew between the beautiful star and her outspoken escort.
Jack said, would you like to dance? And so I say, well, of course, you know, that's what I do. So I start to lead him, and I'm blowing kisses and so on and so forth. And Jack leaned into me and he said, I thought, oh, he's getting a little close here, yes. He said, you are so full of And I went, ah! And that's how I met and fell in love with Jack Bean.
I just told her the truth. And she's a person who deals in the truth.
Jack Bean had arrived just in time to guide Mitzi through her first professional crisis. By 1953, the actress had yet to prove herself at the box office, and her career at Fox was hanging by a thread.
She was getting no representation at all. She was just being paid a lot of money each week to do nothing. So that told me something about her future at 20th Century Fox.
Under Jack's guidance, Mitzi underwent a dramatic transformation.
He said, you've got to lose some weight. He said, your hair is ridiculous. I lost 35 pounds in 3 months. So Jack said, you're now going to go, and my hair's all cut off. He said, you're going to go to the studio and have lunch. First person I see is Marilyn Monroe. She said, oh my goodness. Is that you, Mitzi? You're so thin. Hey, Marilyn Monroe said I'm thin, right?
Marilyn wasn't the only one who noticed the change in Mitzi. Impressed by her new, more sophisticated image, studio executives tapped the actress to co-star with Monroe in Fox's biggest musical of the year. Irving Berlin's There's No Business Like Show Business was Gaynor's first A-list movie. It followed the adventures of a veteran showbiz family played by Ethel Merman, Dan Daly, and Hoofer extraordinaire Donald O'Connor, whose chemistry with Mitzi was unmistakable.
When I see that rusty-head conductor man, I gotta find that man. I'll grab him by the collar and I'll holler, Al! Al!
She loves to laugh and she loves to have fun. She's very intense when she's working. But I think that's one of the great things about her is that she's in there working so very, very hard, and it doesn't come across that way. It comes across easy. But she's quite unique in the respect she's such a beautiful girl, and she could be such a clown.
You're pretty cute yourself.
Well, no, that's more like it. I thought you were great in the show tonight.
Oh, did you?
Uh-huh. You were swell.
Oh, thank you. But you know, you didn't see all of it.
No?
No. We've got a lot of comedy stuff that we didn't do. Real slapstick.
I like slapstick.
I'll bet you do. We have one bit that never fails. Here, I'll show you. Put your hands out like this, flat. Now, I take these 2 glasses and put them like so.
And?
That's all. Bye.
Hey!
But at times, both Gaynor and O'Connor were upstaged by their sultry co-star, Marilyn Monroe, even in a number where Marilyn hardly moved.
Marilyn was lying on the chaise lounge, right? And we were doing these crazy little steps around it that Bob Alton invented. I thought it was kind of stupid. I really did.
Oh, Sam, you're sweet.
That boy and girl are just what Vicky needed. They make her look great.
But Mitzi soon had a bigger problem than Marilyn. 2 weeks into the shoot, Gaynor was stunned to learn that in spite of her new glamorous look, her Fox contract would not be renewed. After making 9 films in 4 years, Mitzi had been fired.
Well, I'd never lost a job before. Jack said, okay. I said, wait a minute. He said, I want you to do better than you've ever done in your life. I said, well, they fired me. He said, I don't want to hear that.
Mitzi listened to Jack's advice and in true trooper fashion, delivered a performance that fully captured her bubbly charm and undeniable talent. There's No Business Like Show Business earned Mitzi Gaynor the best reviews and the biggest audience of her career so far. And not even Marilyn Monroe would pull off the casting coup that lay ahead, the starring role in the crowning movie musical of the decade.
A new real-life series on Bio, a deadly job on the most treacherous seas that can make boys into men.
Now surrender!
And wives into widows.
He was gone.
Extreme Fisherman, an all-new series, premieres Monday at 10 on Bio.
You gotta be joking. I mean, here's something that you rub on your forehead. I started using Head On about 6 to 7 months ago. I'd give it a 10 on 10. It's one of the best products I've ever tried.
The power of Activon Pain Relief is now available in a convenient patch. And introducing Activon Maximum Strength Anti-Itch, the most powerful itch relief without a prescription. In stores now. Introducing Renewin, the only intensive release supplement for joint care and energy. Renewin with glucosamine and chondroitin improves joint comfort, joint mobility, and boosts energy. Renewin in stores now.
Hey, honey, did you pack my flip-flops?
What, hon?
Did you pack my flip-flops?
What?
I can't find my... I need my... Really?
Travelocity will contact you ahead of time if your hotel's undergoing construction.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a big week.
Part of the Travelocity guarantee. Whee! Travelocity. You'll never roam alone.
You know, some things just get better over time. And if you're a homeowner age 62 years or older, a reverse mortgage could make this the best time of your life. Hi, I'm Robert Wagner for the Senior Lending Network. A reverse mortgage is a government-insured loan that allows homeowners 62 and over to access the equity in their homes without making any monthly loan payments. I know it sounds too good to be true, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. That's why the Senior Lending Network created this free educational video. It'll tell you all about government regulations, insurances and safeguards, costs and fees associated with reverse mortgage, differences between a reverse mortgage and a home equity loan, estate planning and inheritance issues, title retention and home ownership responsibilities, and much, much more. Plus, you'll have access to an improved Senior Lending Network specialist who can personally guide you through the entire reverse mortgage process and help you explore all your options. For your free video, all you have to do is call the toll-free number on the bottom of your screen. Over 1 million homeowners have already called the Senior Lending Network for their free video. And now, it's your turn.
Now that we have the reverse mortgage, it has been like a weight off of our shoulders.
The reverse mortgage has given me that assurance that I can stay in my home and enjoy it.
So if you're a homeowner, 62 years or older, or if you want to help your parents maintain their financial independence, let me send you your free video right now. It really could make this the best time of your life.
Call the Senior Lending Network now at 1-800-932-5820. That's 1-800-932-5820 for your free reverse mortgage educational video and information kit. Call 1-800-932-5820. That's 1-800-932-5820. Call now.
Dan Scott is a real Geico customer, not an actor. So to help tell his story, we hired someone who interviews actors.
It was the weekend, and I had questions about my policy.
You had questions? How existential.
I called Geico. They were so helpful and gracious.
I've heard they were also quite beneficent and magnanimous.
It was refreshing to talk to an actual human being.
Human beings behaving humanly. Brilliant.
Geico. Real service, real savings.
By 1954, Mitzi Gaynor was losing confidence in herself. After being released from her contract with 20th Century Fox, she was struggling to make ends meet in a Hollywood that was changing as television drained audiences away from movie theaters. But with strong guidance from her companion and manager Jack Bean, 23-year-old Mitzi kept her profile high. That year, she re-teamed with her friend Donald O'Connor on an episode of his hit TV series, Here Comes Donald.
Très bien. Oh, très bien. One day you'll be a real Parisienne.
I hope so.
But until that lovely day, chérie, come on and follow me. May we?
Oh, we may.
May we?
But away from movie and TV screens, there was only one man in the life of Mitzi Gaynor, and in November of 1954, she proudly became Mrs. Jack Bean.
I can't imagine one without the other. Now, that doesn't mean they're always congenial with each other. They scrap, but they have great affection for each other and great respect. She refers to him as Daddy. He refers to her as Yummy. Anyone else would make you gag, but for them, it seems to work.
In 1956, Mitzi's enterprising husband secured his wife a movie deal at Paramount Pictures, where Gaynor was quickly put to work alongside Donald O'Connor and Bing Crosby in the A-list musical Anything Goes.
They're the tops. 4 top names from the who's who of show business. Delightful, delicious, delovely Mitzi Gaynor. And who can do it better than Bing and Donald?
The next year, Mitzi got an even bigger break, co-starring with Frank Sinatra in the drama The Joker is Wild, the story of singer-turned-comic Joe E. Lewis. During filming, Gaynor had the chance to audition for the role of a lifetime. In 1957, Broadway's top songwriters Rodgers and Hammerstein were searching for an actress to star in the film version of one of their most beloved and successful stage musicals, South Pacific. On Broadway, Mary Martin had created the character of Ensign Nellie Forbush, a naive Midwesterner in love with a French plantation owner during World War II. Martin desperately wanted to reprise her Broadway role on screen, but director Joshua Logan, who had also overseen the stage production, was convinced that the film needed a younger, sexier star. And soon, most of Hollywood's top actresses were vying for the part.
They all lined up, you know, at the Fox door. Susan Hayward, Doris Day, Audrey Hepburn.
The odds were against Gaynor's casting. The film was to be released by 20th Century Fox, the same studio that had fired the actress 3 years before. And Doris Day was considered a shoo-in for the part. But Day fell out of the picture after a dispute with Joshua Logan, and Jack Bean relentlessly pushed until Mitzi won an audition for Oscar Hammerstein himself. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that she almost had to miss.
I was working on The Joker as well. See, now this was my big scene in the picture, and they've hired already maybe 250 extras. It's a lot of dollars. So I go to our director, and I said, is there any way you can help me? And he said, well, honey, you know, I'm not producing this, I'm just directing this. And Frank walks by. He looks at me, he says, honey, what's the matter with you? I said, oh, on Thursday I have a chance to audition for Oscar Hammerstein, but I can't because that's our big day. He said, honey, Did you take the whole day off? I said, we'll work around it. Don't worry about it. He said, you take the whole day off and you go get that job.
When the sky is a bright canary yellow, I forget every cloud I've ever seen. So they call me a cockeyed optimist, immature and incurably green.
When word leaked out that Mitzi had auditioned for Oscar Hammerstein, Hollywood gossip writers assumed that she was being considered for a supporting role. But Hammerstein loved Gaynor's talent and exuberance. And on the set of her next movie, Les Girls, starring Gene Kelly, Mitzi was stunned to get the best news of her career.
I'm sitting in my dressing room, it was raining, and the phone rang, was Daddy. So he said, I wonder what the weather's like in Hawaii. And I said, well, I'm sure it's not like this. He said, well, we're going to find out pretty soon because we leave for Hawaii on the 12th of August. You got the part.
I'm as corny as Kansas in August, high as a flag on the 4th of July. If you'll excuse an expression I use, I'm in love. 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 I'm in love with a wonderful guy.
Mitzi's casting sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Famed columnist Hedda Hopper was aghast at the choice, and many critics wondered whether Mitzi could carry the movie.
Mitzi Gaynor, who was chosen for the coveted role of Nellie Forbush, must undergo a change. Under the watchful eyes of producer Buddy Adler and director Joshua Logan, Mitzi has her hair cropped to fit the role of the pert army nurse.
Undaunted by her detractors, Mitzi and her husband headed to Hawaii for the lavish production of South Pacific, which co-starred Italian leading man Rossano Brazzi and Broadway veteran Ray Walston.
20th Century Fox took a crew of 250 people down to Hawaii, and they all went stir crazy after 5 months. But Mitzi Gaynor, who gave everything she had, she was fresh every morning, right on the button, a wonderful, wonderful person to work with.
I appreciate it, Luther. You don't know how much.
Complicating the shoot for Gaynor and her co-stars was Joshua Logan. The explosive director often sparred with his cameraman over the film's experimental color techniques.
He and Leon Shamroy were kind of doing a battle of wits. Oh, he wants, you know, like cockeyed optimist, kind of a yellow haze. I'll give him a yellow haze.
Logan was equally bruising with his actors.
Think of all those crazy, dirty words. He was all of those. He could love you one day and hate you the next. And you want to run instead of act. So Mitzi did not escape that.
He would do line readings for you so that you had to do it exactly. Same inflections, everything. See, he played the part. I just, you know, I was Charlie McCarthy. That's one of the main reasons why we had to dub the whole picture, because he talked us through everything.
I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair. I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair. I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair and send him on his way. Get the picture?
Joshua Logan's temperamental behavior was triggered partly by the pressure of high expectations for South Pacific. After months of stressful filming, Mitzi could only hope that her hard work in the most important role of her career would silence her critics and make her one of Hollywood's biggest stars. And audiences around the world were now anxiously waiting to see if the film and its controversial leading lady could live up to the celebrated stage version.
That was a Saturday morning, and I was coming home from the Y. My neighbor, Tom, said, I need to talk to you about some things. And then it was kind of odd. He didn't say anything. I noticed out of the corner of my eye a utility knife. Then he slashed my throat, almost over and back, ear to ear, twice. He said, I'm going to stand here and watch you die.
I Survived, all new, Monday at 9, only on Bio.
Viewer discretion advised. The following message may trouble drivers insured with Allstate, State Farm, Geico, and other major insurance companies. We have reason to believe you are overpaying. Yes, overpaying by $364.46 a year on average. Stop overpaying. Call now for a rate quote from AIGDirect.com. 10 minutes is all it takes to learn if you're overpaying and by how much. Over 3 million drivers have already saved money with AIGDirect.com. On average, they keep an extra $364.46 in their pockets. And no other company gives you AIG Security Advantage that includes roadside assistance at no additional cost. Call and ask for a free rate quote today. Call now before you overpay a penny more. Call 1-800-211-SAVE. That's 1-800-211-SAVE. Or visit AIGDirect.com.
When you have rheumatoid arthritis, the simplest things can feel like too much. But relieving the pain you're feeling is only one part of it. It's just as important to help prevent the further joint damage that can happen to some RA patients. For some people with RA, Humira is powerful enough to help do both. And you only use it every 2 weeks. Some people with heart failure should not use Humira. Humira can lower the ability to fight infections in all patients, so tell your doctor right away if you have ever had tuberculosis or hepatitis B, or are prone to infection, or if you get an infection. Do not start Humira if you have an infection such as an open sore or the flu. There have been rare reports of serious and sometimes fatal infections and tuberculosis. Blood disorders, nervous system disorders, serious allergic reactions, and lymphoma, a certain type of cancer, have occurred. You can never do too much to help prevent further joint damage and relieve pain. Humira. The sooner, the better.
A guy is worried about naming his own price? I'm on it. Naming your own price, huh?
Yeah, they want $200 for a 4-star on the Vegas Strip. I'm going $190.
Oh, you wuss.
What?
Go lower.
$160?
Namby-pamby.
$140?
Cupcake.
I want a good room.
It's a guaranteed 4-star room, Mama's boy.
$99.
Now you're negotiating.
Save up to half off on hotels at Priceline.
Tried to take everything we had. They froze our accounts. They levied our accounts for over $17,000, threatening to imprison my husband.
I'm not an actor, and none of the people appearing in this commercial are actors. Thousands of law-abiding Americans have turned to power tax relief. Honest people just like you, whose circumstances left them owing more taxes than they could pay. We ended up taking our $140,000 in tax debt and paid it off for $20,000. You can bet that the IRS will have lawyers working on your case. Don't take a chance without your own legal help.
They took my $48,000 tax debt down to $400. This is a company that really does do what they say they're going to do.
If you owe more than $10,000 in taxes, it's time to call Power Tax Relief, the most trusted name in tax relief, because the relief is real.
Call 800-889-6442. 800-889-6442.
In 1958, after almost 2 years of production, South Pacific, starring Mitzi Gaynor and Rossano Brazzi, finally reached movie screens. Fox spared no expense in promoting the costliest musical it had ever made. And to Mitzi's relief, the result was a box office blockbuster.
South Pacific had its world premiere in a shower of orchids and deserved every one of them.
Mitzi was just great. I mean, I can't somehow imagine Susan Hayward singing, "I'm going to wash that man right out of my hair," or Audrey Hepburn, but I see Mitzi washing that man right out of her hair and doing it with such style and such verve.
With South Pacific, the 27-year-old Gaynor had reached the pinnacle of her career. But despite the film's success, by 1958, big-budget musicals were being swept aside by teen-oriented rock and roll films.
She was born to please. Can't help it, the girl can't help it. And she's got a figure made to squeeze.
The studios didn't know where they were going. They were kind of scared, too. Putting all that money into those musicals, they didn't know whether or not they'd bankrupt the studio. Well, I think everybody was running nervous.
Gaynor realized she could not remain a star by staying in Hollywood. Once again, she took the advice of her business manager and husband, Jack Bean.
She and I started to talk about appearing live. And at that time, Las Vegas was just doing wonderfully. So somebody said to me, would Mitzi consider playing Las Vegas? And I said yes, if they give her a piece of the hotel. And they said, ha, ha, ha.
But the new owner of the Flamingo Hotel did not laugh. He offered Mitzi a share of the hotel's profits. And in 1961, she strutted her stuff in a show that erased any doubts about her drawing power.
They didn't expect her to be that good. Well, we opened, and she really broke up the place. They put Red Skelton against her for 3 days. Nope, she did all the business. Joey Bishop, Martin Lewis, and even Sinatra, and she outdid them. And the people who signed her immediately wanted her for next year and the year after.
Thanks to her share of the Flamingo Hotel's profits and her salary, Mitzi Gaynor made a fortune that promised lifelong financial security. And for the rest of the 1960s, Las Vegas remained her main professional playground. Offstage, Mitzi found fulfillment in her close marriage and her equally close relationship with her mother, Pauline, who remained her greatest champion. Mitzi herself had often thought of becoming a mother.
We had a lot of fun trying, I must say, but then when you see a lot of the kids of people in our business, we travel and have traveled so much. It's so hard on the children. It's hard on the dogs, for heaven's sakes. I mean, other people have made it work, but I guess we didn't think. Also, I think I was too jealous of Jack. I didn't want anybody else in the way.
Mitzi realized that with her demanding work schedule, she was not destined to be a mother. So she channeled her energy into her performances. Audiences could always count on a show packed with singing, sex appeal, and sensational costumes, usually designed by her friend Bob Mackie.
She loved opulence, she loved color. There could be anywhere from 10 to 20 changes in 1 hour act. Everything had to make you smile with Mitzi because that's what she's all about.
When she walks out there, you'll know that her whole heart and soul is in it. I've seen her work before 13 or 14,000 people, and I've seen her work in front of 23 with 1,100 seats empty. The shows were identical.
Mitzi's positive attitude kept her career on track, despite huge changes in American pop culture in the 1960s. Eager to keep working, Gaynor starred in her first TV special in 1968 at age 37. Titled simply Mitzi, the show was a critical and ratings smash. And for the next 10 years, between Mitzi's stage engagements, CBS was eager for her to return for an annual special that always tested her imagination.
It was a way for her to sit down and say, now what would I like to do? Where in movies, she was always the co-star, so you get your little bit, but you have to grab it for that 2 or 3 minutes within a film. Well, the television specials were all Mitzi.
And that's the way we're going to do this show. You see, it's not going to be overproduced and overblown with a lot of big, expensive effects and phony gimmicks. Just a nice, unassuming little show without all the glitter and tinsel we've grown so tired of. So just relax and enjoy the first time.
She'd accept any challenge, do it, work her butt off. When we said we're going to do a 20s, I thought we have to do a Charleston, and that should end all Charlestons. We added cartoon to it, we added balloons, we did every version. Once she commits herself, she really goes for it.
Gaynor worked tirelessly throughout the 1970s with TV specials and numerous stage appearances. Because she and her husband Jack were so often on the road, her co-workers became a surrogate family. But in 1979, Mitzi needed their support more than ever to endure the greatest loss of her life, the death of her mother, Pauline.
When she lost her mother, it was a devastating loss for Mitzi, and she still almost ceremoniously visits her mother's grave.
Pauline's funeral was next to a Catholic school, and when we all came in and Mitzi got out of the car, all the kids were at the windows looking and saying, "Oh, it's Mitzi Gaynor, Mitzi Gaynor," and the sisters, and they were all pointing, and Mitzi said, "Oh, my mama would be so proud."
Knowing that her mother would not want her to stop performing, the 47-year-old bore her grief quietly and returned to work just 3 days after Pauline's funeral. And in the decade ahead, Mitzi Gaynor would find yet another rewarding calling as a savvy Hollywood historian.
They say a man should always dress for the job he wants. So why am I dressed up like a pirate in this restaurant? It's all because some hacker stole my identity. Now I'm in here every evening serving chowder and iced tea. Should have gone to freecreditreport.com. I could have seen this coming at me like an atom bomb. They monitor your credit and send you email alerts, so you don't end up selling fish to tourists in t-shirts.
Offer applies with enrollment and Triple Advantage.
Chloe is 9 months old.
She is the greatest thing ever.
One little smile, one little laugh. Anybody? We would do anything for her. My name is Kim Bryant, and my husband and I made a will on LegalZoom.
It was really easy to do.
We created LegalZoom to help you take care of the ones you love. Go to LegalZoom.com today and complete your will in minutes. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side.
Do you suffer from dirty carpet anxiety?
Hi, let's stay on the porch, okay? What?
Finally, there's a cure, the deep cleaning rug stick from Woolite. It's the brand new way to clean your carpet and rugs quickly and easily, even the most embarrassing high traffic areas, leaving you and your carpet revitalized. Unlike other carpet cleaners, the Woolite rug stick has exclusive applicator jets that power the cleaning foam deep down to lift embedded soil. Then the unique brush system loosens the dirt and perks up matted carpet fibers. Just vacuum up the quick-drying foam and your heavily soiled areas are clean in no time. The rug stick tames messy pet areas, easily maneuvers on hard-to-clean stairs, and works beautifully on your area rugs. So get a deep-down clean with the Woolite rug stick and cure your dirty carpet anxiety for good.
Now save $3 on the new Woolite rug stick. Download your coupon at rugstick.com/26 today.
Our children and our grandchildren worried about us getting in and out of the tub.
If you have difficulty getting in and out of the tub, you don't have to worry anymore. Premier Bathrooms brings freedom and safety to your life.
I worried every time she'd get in and then she'd get out.
Premier Bathrooms custom bath enclosures are easy to step into, feature sturdy hand grips and safety bars, secure locking mechanisms, and contoured seating.
Oh, it just lifted a burden off me. I knew when she was in there that she would be fine.
No worries at all.
Rejuvenate yourself with Premier Bathrooms hydrotherapy jets. You don't have to fear slipping and falling anymore. Call Premier Bathrooms for yourself or call for someone you love. Call now and Premier Bathrooms will send you a free information kit.
Call 1-888-238-4119.
What inspired my room, my past, my present, and my birthday present?
With a complete palette of floors and smart tools, Mohawk puts your inspiration to work. Solve your creative puzzle at mohawkflooring.com. Save with the Mohawk Colors of Spring sale. No payments and no interest until January 2010. Only at participating Floorscapes and Color Center retailers.
On the next biography, an Emmy, a few Grammys, and some other equally as prestigious awards.
He's the best kisser of any movie actor.
And of course, he's hilarious.
What makes him so funny is the fact that he looks so serious.
But don't expect to be laughing the whole time.
His family was very isolated. It was painful.
There was a lot of jealousy on the part of our dad.
He's actually quite guarded and private.
You needed reaching out to, and they didn't know how to do it.
Steve Martin, Wednesday at 9, only on Bio.
The one and only Mitzi Gaynor.
Throughout the 1980s and into the 1990s, Mitzi Gaynor celebrated her 5th and 6th decades as a performer. And although the golden age of movie musicals was long gone, Mitzi was as busy as ever, performing and telling tales about her colorful career on stages across America.
Tell us about your life, Mitzi, won't you? Oh, thank you so much.
Mitzi keeps current. Anything that's new that she can work to her advantage, she's going to try and she's going to do.
See, that is the problem with the 90s now. The women are hard where they should be soft, and the men are...
In the 1990s, Mitzi also found a new calling as a sharp-eyed raconteur of movie history by writing for the influential industry magazine, The Hollywood Reporter.
She can recount things that just amaze me about, the past in terms of Hollywood. You get these insights. I just thought I can get her to put these thoughts on paper. They'd be juicy, and they're very popular. When George Cukor's 100th birthday was being celebrated, she did a fabulous piece called Dishing Mr. Cukor. And what was wonderful about it was she told the truth. In this town, so often people say, oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, she said, yeah, he was great, but, and she outlined the buts with that wonderful twinkle, and you just can't wait to hear more.
I always say George Christie was on our honeymoon with us, and he was. And this one, Ethel Merman called in, she said, hello, Mitzi! I said, Mom, how are you? She said, how'd you know it was me, kid? She said, tomorrow night, you want to go out with the Windsors? I said, the Windsors? She said, yeah, Duke and Duchess of Windsor. You want to go out with them? I said, well, Mom, we're honeymoon. She said, can't you stop it for a little? So...
Gaynor continued to find great happiness in her home life with her husband of over 4 decades, Jack Bean. Their personal and professional partnership was almost unique in Hollywood for its longevity and success.
It's a question of give and take. You can't overlap into the other person's territory. She's an actress. He handled the business end of it. He was a partner, and they did beautifully together.
During the 1990s, Mitzi also remained devoted to the care of friends and co-workers.
Mitzi's, the angel of mercy. If you're sick, she'll be there with the chicken soup. She'll be on the phone every day.
When she was losing friends, HIV-infected friends, dancers with whom she'd worked, Mitzi was the one who cooked food and took it over to them. She's the one who helped them out, who took care of many of them, and she has great warmth. She keeps friends a very long time.
After 7 decades, Mitzi Gaynor continues to embody show business dazzle. A savvy survivor and a caring friend who still lives to light up an audience.
She's an up person. She's got a very marvelous outlook and attitude. She loves to sing. She just loves to entertain. Oh, yes, you throw a dime down, she'll do 20 minutes.
She's just a special, oomphy dame. She sings, she dances, she acts, she writes. She can get fun out of a rock.
What you see is what Mitzi is. It's all there and so much talent. That's her. That's it.
Well, she is showbiz, exactly. She is showbiz.
I love her. And Jack Bean, get lost.